Improving cooling system efficiency, Part 10, system automation. One of the helpful tools for controlling not only the cycles of concentration, but also the chemical dosages in the cooling tower and the cooling tower bleed is to automate the system. And here we see an example of a liquid chemical feed and bleed system utilizing an Advantage controller. There are many different controllers on the market. This happens to be the one that was installed at this location. But here we see a PLC-based controller, and we have a flow of water that comes from the cooling condenser water circuit. It flows through and over sensing probes in that loop to measure the conductivity. And then here we see chemical injection points in that loop so that we can feed the appropriate scale and corrosion inhibitors into the system. And that controller monitors and does this automatically, so it minimizes operator involvement, and it also makes sure that the cycles of concentration are maintained at the desired set point, and that our chemical dosages are maintained within our recommended dosages by automating the feeding of the chemical via the chemical metering pumps. Now here's another configuration for an automated system. Here once again we see an Advantage controller. We see the sample loops here for the water samples coming in and chemical injection points. But in this design we use a solid chemical in a smaller container. So it's a different method, different feed system that's designed to minimize the handling and storing of liquid chemicals in large 30 or 55 gallon drums. So in some applications this has merit over the more traditional larger chemical feed systems for the bigger cooling towers. Here's something you commonly see in a cooling tower. It's a pellet feeder. It's actually, this one's designed to feed bromine as a sanitizing agent to the water. These bromine tablet feeders dose an oxidizing biocide to the cooling tower to maintain the water in a sanitary condition, which is very important because cooling towers are an ideal habitat for the breeding of bacteria and the growth of algae. And if you don't provide adequate provisions for controlling these bacterial growths in the system, you'll soon find that you have a Garden of Eden of algae growing in the tower, and it also can have some health effects with certain microorganisms like Legionella, which can pose an environmental health threat if not properly controlled. So again, this system is commonly fed off the controller, and it's automated, so we maintain the dosages within the prescribed limits for that sanitizer. Alternatives include chlorine and other non-oxidizing biocides that can and are often used to control bacteria and microbiological fouling. So in essence, cooling tower automation is a big help in terms of keeping the cycles of concentration at optimum levels for water savings. It also helps us manage the chemical feed to make sure that it's automated and in proportionate to the cooling tower makeup or blowdown, so that we're not overfeeding or underfeeding the chemicals if that's a problem. And also the biocides that are required to keep the water sanitary can be fed via the controller so that they're added continuously on a timer, so that we make sure that we keep on top of that, and the water quality is, from a biological standpoint, is within our specifications.